All right. So next says NYK says when mapping your Google News site to a custom domain name,
Okay.
does both the Google News site and the new custom domain name site both remain indexed in Google, or does the new Google site eventually get de-indexed? Just wondering if there was a hack to get them both ranking highly. No, when you do custom domain mapping, I haven't done it with the new sites, but I'm sure I'm not sure, but I assume it's the same as when mapping a custom domain to the classic Google sites, in that both sites can remain indexed. However, the Google site on the sites.google.com domain is canonicalized to the custom domain. So in other words, there's a canonical in the HTML header of the new Google site that links or that sets the canonical URL to the custom domain. So by Google's own, practices, that means the new Google site should eventually fall out of the index because it's canonicalized to the custom domain. However, that gives you an opportunity to have a kind of like a ghost site out there that you can use for link building still.
Wicked stuff.
To the Google Sites domain, and it still pushes through to your custom domain. So there's some pretty ninja stuff that you can do with that. But I typically don't go through that trouble anymore. I did originally when we first started doing that several years ago, but now I don't even bother. I just use the Google site on the sites.google.com domain, and then that's it. But you can still canonicalize it as far as I know.
Well, you don't canonicalize it. Google does that automatically.
Yes,
Google
if
inserts
you set up
it
a custom domain, yes.
Right. Now, the great thing about it is that the G site has to stay live until Google comes up with a true content management system, right? Because the CMS is the G site.
That's right.
And so until they come up with that, that new G site is going to stay live. And there's a lot of wicked stuff you can do to that since it's a Google canonical to your website. Just think that through, and you're going to see how awesome it is that Google keeps that Google site indexed, or it remains part of the index, although I don't think it's going to rank for. Oh, test it.
Yeah.
This is nothing but a test and see, because I stopped doing it also. I stopped creating the custom domains, and I'm just going with G sites because they carry so much power. And so little work.
Yeah. Same thing. And I was doing custom domain mapping for ID pages too, subdomain ID mapping. And I got away from doing that too, because it's just like an extra step that's really unnecessary. You can just use the S3 bucket URL and you're good to go. So. Yep.